When I first started throwing a football jig, I had no idea how versatile this little bait actually was. These baits can be fished on the bottom in super deep water on ledges and stuff like that, brush piles, rocks, in 20 to 30 feet of water. Or you can lighten your football jig up a little bit. If I'm fishing deep water, I'm going to use 3/4 ounce to an ounce football jig. If I'm fishing it a little bit shallower, I'm going to, lighten it up to maybe a 1/2 or a 3/8. And the key with this bait is the way that football head makes it sit on the bottom perfectly straight all the time. So that football jig is going to get down there on the bottom, and it's going to just stand that craw up a little bit, and it's designed to be, kind of dragged on the bottom. The way I fish this is really just like I would fish a Carolina rig. So I'm going to cast this bait out there on the deep structure, on a ledge, a hump, or in brush. Sometimes you can pop it through brush, and I'm going to get that bait down there, and I'm just going to kind of pull it to the side a few feet and then stop, and then I'll pull it to the side and then pause it. And big bass eat football jigs. Big bass eat jigs in general, but when you find a school of bass on offshore structure and you work that football jig down there to them and drag it through there, you will catch some absolute giants. A lot of the biggest bass of people's lives have been caught on jigs just like this one. So since I fish my football jig a lot of the time in deep water, I like to use a heavy action rod. When you have a bait that's down there really deep with a big hook on it, you want to be able to lay the wood to that fish, stick them and get them in. So heavy action rod is very important, and the length I'm going to use is going to be like a 7.3 up to a 7.6. The longer rod also helps you make long casts, and it also helps with that hook set again. You can move more line on a hook set when you have that extra rod length on there. So don't use like a a 6.6 or a 7-foot rod. Beef it up a little bit, get a little bit longer rod, and you'll stick more fish on that football jig. Now, since it's a bait that I'm fishing on the bottom, fluorocarbon line is really important. You got to use fluorocarbon, and in my opinion, and the fluorocarbon has less stretch. You can feel everything on the bottom. It's a little bit more sensitive, and you can really feel that football jig and feel what it's crawling into. And then when they just tick that bait, hold on tight, reel down, and set the hook, and you can definitely feel the bites better when you're fishing it with fluorocarbon. That's kind of the key for me with the football jig. These are versatile baits. You can throw it shallow, you can throw it deep. You can even swim it through the water column if you're fishing grass edges, like hydrilla edges or milfoil edges. But football jigs are a tool that you got to have in your boat, and you got to have the right setup to make it work for you.